Hello, everyone. I am Michelle Curran, a business analyst with InfoMatrix Corporation. The overarching message that InfoMatrix wants you to take home today is that data is for everyone. Data is not just for the larger counties in Pennsylvania. It is not for the biggest of budgets. Data is for everyone. Everyone being our smallest communities, our rural towns, and even some of those who don't have these large budgets. The importance of data is monumental in today's evidence-based practices. Let's take a look at how data can transform the casework practice. As we look at our referral statistics and analysis dashboard, we first come to our referral analysis tab. This tab will show you a summary of the investigations received throughout a certain time period. It breaks this down by type, by year, by month, by day, and by time of day. You may ask yourself, well, why do I need all of these breakdowns? The biggest piece that this dashboard can offer is a driver for your staffing needs. Are there specific months or seasonal needs where more staffing is needed? Are there specific days of the week that the agency should operate over others? Are there specific shifts we need to hire more workers for? The referral analysis dashboard will help answer those questions. You may also ask your questions based on your workers. Well, who's doing what? And what are they processing? The referral by caseworkers dashboard will give you a snapshot of the amount of investigations that workers are processing. In this descending view, you can see the worker at the top of the graph has processed 608 referrals. Perhaps this graph will help balance caseloads better so that the quantity is more uniform across your different staff. Another helpful tool within this dashboard is the type of investigations that workers are processing. This will also help balance caseloads since the intensity of some types of investigations is more than others. In addition to looking at these views by worker, you're also able to look at these views by unit. This is another piece that will help balance your caseloads. This will help determine are specific units doing the appropriate investigations and are they being assigned the appropriate investigations for that unit's purpose. You can see this by type, totals, and percentages. When we start to dig into the details of an investigation, one of the first things that we talk about relates to the type of persons involved. Primarily, we want to look at the children involved. When we speak of children, it's not always about just the alleged victims. Children involves everyone in the household, the victim and their siblings. As we look at the referral participants' child-involved data, you're going to see demographic statistics related to gender, ethnicity, race, and age. So how does this help you? What this will help the county do is identify if there are specific training needs related to specific subject matter. For example, is there any type of cultural competency training needed as it relates to the ethnicity and the race of the persons that the county staff are working with? Is there more training needed based on the age of the children the county staff are working with? As we go through these different tabs, you'll see these same statistics across the board for alleged victims, alleged perpetrators, and even parents. And again, that need of the referral participants will be met using data to drive your training. When we look at the specific allegations related to a referral, we start to look at what is happening. If there are injuries in the referral, they will be tracked by injury location. This information will be shown based on where the injury occurs on the body, will be shown based on the gender of the alleged perpetrator and where they are causing the injuries on a victim's body, and the gender of the alleged victim and where the injuries are occurring. How might this data help us, you ask? Injury location data can help you better collaborate with your healthcare professionals to better serve the community at large. Aside from injury locations, now we want to talk about where are these incidents happening. Our allegation locations dashboard will help answer that question. As we look at the details for allegation locations, one of our biggest tools is our heat map. In this heat map, you will see a dot that represents the investigations that are occurring and the incidents that have happened. The bigger the dot, the more the investigations. So as you can see, when you hover, it will show you a specific zip code and how many allegations have occurred there. You can also see this in the pivot at the right. As we break this down, you can begin to see the types of referrals and allegations by count in the different cities within your county. What will this help with? This will help determine, are there different satellite offices needed in specific geographic locations? Rather than have one central office, do we need multiple satellite offices to better serve our community? Looking in more detail, we're able to even break down allegations based on referral type and category and subcategory of abuse. When we begin to look at our GPS referrals, we want to focus on subcategory of abuse. What you're able to see is what is the most prevalent subcategory of abuse, and then you're able to see the allegation outcomes that are associated with that subcategory. You're also able to see a large detail of information based on that allegation. As we go through the different tabs in this dashboard, you're going to be able to compare and contrast the workers and the types of subcategories that they are working on. What this will help you see is whether certain workers are validating or invalidating one subcategory over others. You can also see the subcategory breakdown by alleged victim, which will also lead into the demographics of the victim in those subcategories. So just as we saw demographic information for child involved, you're now able to see the demographic information as it relates to the subcategory of abuse the victim is associated with. The same can be seen for alleged perpetrators as well. In CPS allegations, you're going to see a very similar breakdown. However, within CPS allegations, you are able to see the category of abuse and the subcategory of abuse. The reason that this is important is because within GPS allegations, the subcategory of abuse is always different, but the category is always GPS concerns. With CPS, your subcategory and your category are unique in each individual allegation. The graphs represented will give you the allegation outcome by category of abuse, and will give you the counts of different subcategories. Our tree graph in the middle here represents an overall category of abuse, and then it will give you the hierarchy of the subcategories within that category of abuse and the allegation outcomes associated with. Another interesting statistic that you're able to see in the CPS allegations are the fatalities versus near fatalities. Your fatalities are always going to be associated with causing the death of a child through any act or failure to act. However, your near fatalities are a response from the worker based on a doctor's diagnosis of a near fatality. All of the information contained within the CPS and GPS allegations tabs will give you the information you need to identify trends in substantiating or not substantiating allegations, and it will also allow you to meet training needs for higher areas of need, such as a prevalent substance abuse subcategory, perhaps more resources, more providers, more treatments, more training in that area would be needed. As we switch gears, I'm going to now talk about the importance of contacts made with families. So when contacts are made with families, every contact, a phone call, an email, a voicemail, a face-to-face visit, announced visits, unannounced visits, everything must be documented. Dictation through case notes is one of the biggest pieces of casework. The documentation of case notes is captured in our worker contacts dashboard. In this dashboard, you can see how many contacts based on the entry of notes were made with a family. You can see that breakdown by the referrals that were received on the family and the ongoing case contacts made with once they have been accepted for ongoing services. You can see the breakdown of those referral contacts by specific CWIS ID, and you can see it specific to the case. As we dig more into the contacts, one of the biggest things that you want to evaluate is how often and how much are the caseworkers meeting face-to-face with the family versus not meeting face-to-face? Are they having more in-person visitation than they are making phone calls? Our face-to-face contacts by month will allow you to see the count of non-face-to-face and face-to-face contacts. This will help drive whether the county is meeting the needs of the families in terms of regulatory contact on a monthly basis. If you want to start to look into the worker completion of notes, you'll start to see whether this is truly impacting the hours they work. You're able to see who is creating notes versus who is modifying notes. Is it the same person who's entering that's completing, which would take more work than a person entering and then someone else completing it in the case of a clerical aid? You're also able to see contacts being made by worker, which will help identify who may be in the field or working on behalf of families more than others. As we scroll down, we're able to see the contact types that are being made at each visit. You're able to tell, are there more contacts being completed on specific days and of specific types? This will help tell a story of how often we're meeting, how often we're talking to each other over the phone, and so much more. You're able to see those contact types over the course of the year and to see how often we're meeting. You can see in this specific graph that the caseworker is making home visits about as much as they're making phone calls. And this may help better balance your practice needs in terms of the work that is being completed in the office versus in the field. One of the bigger contributing factors, as opposed to count, is the actual duration. I may meet with somebody 20 times, but if I'm only spending a total of 20 minutes over those 20 contacts, that's not as much value as seeing the in spending one contact for 3 hours. In the duration by contact type and duration by contact purpose, you're able to see the amount of time being spent doing each activity, both on an average and an actual format. As we move into greater details on contacts, you have a quick snapshot into the total face-to-face versus non-face-to-face, how many times the child was present for visits versus not present for visits, etc. And you have a pivot into the details for those notes. You're also able to see, are workers completing notes as they're completing referrals? So you can see in the instance of most of the referrals on this case, although the referral may be completed, there are many notes that are not completed. You also see this trend in the ongoing case. The case is closed, but many of the notes have not been completed. This will better help in supervision with workers to ensure that they're completing their casework in a timely manner. Another key indicator from the worker contacts dashboard has to do with the regulatory timeframes that counties are to be meeting with families. We provide graphs that will allow you to see the time between contacts. How much time on average is between our face-to-face contacts? In this instance, there's about a week or 8 days between our face-to-face contacts. The other graph provides that on the case, the ongoing level. One of the other interesting statistics that we're able to provide is the average day between referral receipt and the first contact made. In this instance, for one specific referral, we're able to provide that there were 2 days between the first face-to-face and non-face-to-face contact for this investigation. What this will assist in doing is allowing counties to analyze, are they meeting their response times? That we have reviewed the types of data that is available to you, it is of great importance that you continue to remember that data is for everyone. By reviewing the referral statistics and analysis dashboard along with the worker contacts dashboard, it is evident that data is what drives practice. It can help improve your staffing, your trading, your collaboration, your documentation, and so much more. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, data is at your fingertips and InfoMatrix Corporation can bring it to you.